Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Dress Code. And this is a new crime drama from director Joseph Pupello and from writer Peter Panagos. And this focuses on Bobby Russo, who's a young man, grown up, living in the closet of who he really is, who loves putting on women's clothing and wearing makeup and feeling alive in that way. The most alive that he feels is in that element, which he has to closet and hide as he is involved in the mob. And this is a very Italian film, focusing on this crime family and this young man who's going to be married to this young woman, Claire, and has this very rocky relationship with his father, has a strong connection with his uncle, who is a higher up in this mob, and you have all these dynamics throughout this film. It really draws upon a lot of, famous mafia stories of like The Godfather and Goodfellas. You find some familiar elements because at the core of it is all about family. It's about sticking with your family. It's about doing the business. It's not personal. And when it does get personal, when it does get heated, when it does get emotional, that's where things get complicated. And you have all of those elements in this film. And I think this film does a really fine job of creating this mafia tale, this backstory, this backdrop to Bobby's story. And it's engaging, it's interesting, it has its own tensions because you have the tensions between Bobby's father and his uncle Rocco, and the feeling that his father was overshown and passed over by his brother, and it's that fiery anger that gets him in trouble. And you have those elements. You have Bobby trying to rise through the ranks to support his new family, and you have this all while he's trying to keep closeted who he really is and what really makes him happy. And you have these flashbacks and moments when he's younger with his mother, who was the only one really supportive of what he was doing for most of his life and being who he is. And this film definitely has some emotional moments in that way. This film really rises above based off of very emotional and human moments between characters of trying to be who they really are, dealing with the disappointment of being overshadowed by, say, a sibling, or being unloved by your father. And there's a lot of daddy issues here. There's a lot of familial tensions. There's also a lot of unfortunate expectations in how well this film captures. I'm an Italian American, and Italian American community a lot of the time is very traditional, and not being able to get past certain things that aren't considered normal behavior. And you have a film like this that puts those out into the forefront and deals with them very head on, and I appreciated that. And it balances the personal strife that Bobby goes through, and Gerard Garilli does a really fine job in this lead performance. There's some moments where it's like, feels a little green. The film feels a little green from like a directing standpoint. You could tell that it was really on a low budget and trying to bring this all together, but they do make the most of this. And I think the music in particular, the composition by Stefan Swanson, was actually really good and brought a lot of emotion to the forefront here. You have some good storytelling, some good characters, and some tensions that build throughout this film and leave you shocked and laying very emotional at times throughout this film, especially as we get towards the resolution at the end of this film, because it's not only about Bobby's sexuality, who he really is, but it's also about the life, this mob life, this danger, and how it all comes back to bite you. There's consequences, and this film deals with consequences in a very impactful way. There's some moments where I feel like it was a little too far. There's one particular moment with one character and how their story is wrapped up that I was just like, that feels a little on the nose. But they went with it. Good for them. But in general, I think this is a real solid, strong crime drama, and at the core, a very human story about somebody striving to be who they are and not who everybody wants them to be. But those are my thoughts on Dress Code. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. And go check this out. This is a small film. I was very lucky to have filmmaker reach out to me and asked if I could cover this, and I'm glad that I did, because this is definitely a worthwhile experience, and it spoke to me as well as an Italian American, and I appreciated this film quite a bit. But thank all of you out there for always tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.